Welcome back. In this video, we're going to go on a leveling and stealing extravaganza. You should have enough experience now to have gotten to level 8 with everybody. And so we'll head to camp. And when we're leveling like this, it's important to have Asterion in the party, as he's our best thief. So we'll head over and talk to him.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
And we're going to add him to the party, replacing Gale.
Obviously I would, but you have so many followers already. I wouldn't want to crowd you.
So we had Gale in our party only as a backup
Well,
in
in
case we
that
needed
case,
inspiration.
I'm all yours.
All right. And we'll get Asterion ready for stealing. So for now, we're just going to swap armor with Alfira so that he has advantage on all dexterity checks. We'll grab the Gloves of Power, which give a bonus to Sleight of Hand. We'll give him the Silver Pendant. We will equip the Smuggler's Ring, and we'll equip the Shapeshifter's Boon. And that's it for things that we can do that are going to increase his ability to steal. And now we need to locate Volo. He is down here. So we'll take Asterion.
Let's go.
And head down to Volo. I take that back. We can get one more point if we want to, and we can do that now. So let's find our amulet that does lesser restoration. We will Vampire Bite Alfira. That gives her Bloodless, but makes Asterion happy. And we'll cast Lesser Restoration from this amulet, curing the Bloodless condition. Alright, so we will re-equip our Guidance Amulet. We will cast Disguise and go into Halfling Thief mode. And let's see if we can be a Baggins. So we'll run behind Volo, cast Guidance, crouch, and pause the game. So we can see all kinds of stuff in here. Scroll of Stinking Cloud, Scroll of Fear, Darkness, and Fly. Wall of Fire, Detect Bots, False Life. This one's going to be a tall order for us. It's got a high target value. It's actually harder to take than the money, but we'll give it a shot. And we succeeded. So Scrolls of Conjure Elemental are great, and we'll use them for the rest of the game. And at this point in time, we will consider leveling up Asterion. I forgot, I think we've already bought bombs from the Quartermaster, so that would be something that we want to make sure that we're doing each time, is that we're hitting the Quartermaster up and that we're hitting up Volo. Alright, so we're leveling up Rogue. We get an expanded spell. The best thing that we can get for Asterion, because he's not running with a high intelligence, so his DCs are not very good, the best thing that we can do is give him either Misty Step or Knock. We already have Knock in the party, so Misty Step provides Asterion with a get out of here option. We could choose to replace a spell and see what we've got. These are all pretty good. And we get a feat. So this is where we can think about what we want Asterion to do for the rest of the game. So he can do damage, but that's not really his forte. And if we were to give him Sharpshooter, he would be far less accurate. We could try to enhance his pickpocketing, which is what we're really using him for, but he's already got expertise, so we're not going to get a lot of value out of investing further in that. So for Asterion, our best option is ability improvement to bump up his dexterity, and we could choose to bump up his intelligence as well. if we look through the rest of this, we could try to give him access to medium armor. And other than that, there's nothing in the feat list that is really jumping out as something that would be good for us. Our other good option is Lucky. Lucky is something that allows us to re-roll on failed attacks, ability checks, or saving throws. So if we want to try to re-roll on the first miss, this is another option for us. We're not going to be doing a lot more stealth archery, so I'd rather have the dexterity for the additional +1. And of course, we can always retrain if we think that we've made a mistake there. All right, so we will let the turn pass. There's nothing really going on in camp, so we'll go back and select Asterion again and start stealing. So
What a generous pocket. Almost too easy. Pleasantly oblivious. A quick profit. A little souvenir.
and that's it for stealing in this round. We'll come out of turn-based mode, and we're going to have the Alfira head to Last Light Inn.
See any movement there?
And since we've reset inventory, we're going to go talk to Quartermaster Tally,
Watching us.
and we're a little overburdened.
If you're all right by Jahira, you're all right by me.
And we'll take a look at her wares. And here, let's see what's weighing us down, and maybe we can get rid of some stuff. We don't need the Rat Bat. We generally don't need any non-magical equipment anymore. Ochre jelly that we never used. She's got a fair bit of money. We can also see about getting rid of some of the scrolls that we've picked up, or, you know, all but a few of these grease bottles. We really don't need 20 of them. We don't need 22 potions of animal speaking. And we'll keep the other characters' original outfits in case we want to play with that later for cutscenes. All right, now let's take a look at value, and the big stacks of scrolls are going to be here at the top. So we don't need any scrolls of planar binding. We don't need 13 scrolls of fly. And now we can see if there's anything else in here we want. Now the Wantai scale mail is something that we didn't pick up last time. We want scrolls of conjure elemental until we have 8 or so. And we'd like these bombs, and then we can take a look at what other potions we've got. Alpha movement is great. Elixir of Vigilance, I think we still have a couple of these. They're handy to have and not very expensive. We've got some potions of flying. We don't need oil of diminution. We don't need dyes. Or really any spears. Big no on the oil of accuracy. We will take a potion of speed. And that looks like, oh, and we've got some arrows of many targets, so we'll grab those as well. And if we want to, we can grab the Scroll of Fireball. And now that we've got a little more room to play, we can also get rid of the Scrolls of Dominate Person, all 17 of the Speak with Dead scrolls, all of our Scrolls of Polymorph, Scrolls of Vampiric Touch we could cast in an emergency if we needed to heal while someone was standing next to us. We'll never cast Stone Skin. We like Remove Curse as a scroll, but we don't like Curse as a scroll. And Telekinesis is situationally useful. We've got 4 more Scrolls of Fly. Scrolls of Feign Death, we'll never cast that. Phantasmal Killer, we'll never cast that. Stinking Cloud. Gust of Wind. Acid Arrow. And look at this, we have not consumed Auntie Ethel's hair. That's kind of interesting. We could have had a slightly better roll on some of those persuasion checks, perhaps. And that's my bad. We don't really need Twist of Fortune either, but we can talk about hijinks for that later. We'll go ahead and barter, swapping stuff that we don't need for stuff that we do.
Take care now.
And we're also going to run over and check with Barkus and see what he's got in his inventory. And we're super overburdened from money. So we'll take the 2 lightning jabbers, we'll send those to Lizelle. And some of these bombs we'll send to camp.
Premium trinkets and doodahs.
And that brings us under the weight limit we need. And these shopping videos are not necessarily the most thrilling, but this is a really core component of the game. And we'll like to trade.
I'm sure you would.
Consumables are made to be consumed. It's important that we bear that in mind and use them. And sort of unbelievably, Barkus doesn't appear to have any bombs. You're letting me down here, Barkus.
Now, if you're done rife.
And we have robbed Volo and talked to both vendors, so it's time to level up somebody. We'll level up Alfira. And we can pick another 4th level spell. For us, the big value add here is going to be Freedom of Movement. So the spell that is defensive in nature, this is going to prevent us from being paralyzed or restrained. We don't probably need to replace any spells. If we take a look, this is a pretty solid list. And for our feat here, our main character does shoot bows a lot. That's kind of our thing. So we're going to want to take Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter gives us a -5 to hit for an additional 10 damage. So because of the bounded accuracy system here in Dungeons & Dragons, -5 to hit is not so terrible. We can overcome that, where the +10 to damage, it's hard to replicate with any mix of items. So that's going to be our feat for level 8. It's also going to mean that we are really well off switching to hand crossbows, because that 3rd attack now does 10 more points of damage than it used to, and it's going to change the math really dramatically. We'll talk to Barkus again.
What now? I'm sure you would.
And he's got a couple bombs this time, and a potion of speed, and some more arrows. And once we're at, like 30 something, we probably don't need to start to continue to collect those. So unlike bombs, where we definitely will collect all the bombs we can get, also explosive arrows as those start showing up, we'll want all of them. And if your ambitions lie in having more money, more stuff, then you can go to Withers and...
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
Right. You can go to Withers and opt to retrain, and then you could level up again. And when you do that, all the vendor stuff will refresh, and Volo will refresh, and you can continue to steal. So really, there's no limit to the amount of money that you could get your paws on if you'd like them. Let's take a look at the potions that she's got. So Bloodlust Elixir is pretty good. We may have use for that in trying to defend Halcyon. We don't need an Elixir of the Colossus. Replacing a level 3 spell slot's pretty good, so we'll take that. Scroll of Fireball is pretty good. Again, we might use that for defending Halcyon. You're going to have a slightly different list of things from when you're doing your shopping than I'm going to get. We're also going to pick up the Mighty Cloth. This is going to give bull strength all the time and an additional +2 strength. The important part of that is getting permanent advantage. So we like to get that. And we'll take a look. We've got some bombs. And then there's the Harper Amulet is also pretty good when we don't have a better option for the neck piece. There's some monk equipment. If you happen to have built a monk, the gear that she sells is pretty good for monks. So we'll go ahead and just barter with her and exit. That's probably going to be the last major armor purchase. See Volo's come back. And we'll steal from Volo. And now that that's done, we'll level up Shadowheart. So not a lot to do here, but our big issue with Shadowheart is that when we cast a spell like Spirit Guardians or something and we get hit, that can get interrupted, and we want that to not happen. There are two options that help us prevent that. The first here is Warcaster, and Warcaster gives us advantage on saving throws for concentration. The other option that we've got is Resilient, which gives our proficiency bonus and an additional point of stat, right? So we could pick Resilient Constitution and level up to a 15 con and add our proficiency bonus of 3, or we can get advantage on the check. We can get advantage on this check from other sources, right? So we could cast the enhance ability from another character onto Shadowheart to give her advantage on concentration checks, and advantage is roughly equivalent to +5 depending on what way you're doing the math there. So this is a bit up to you. Warcaster comes with an additional feature which allows you to cast Shocking Grasp. Not a super duper useful spell, but it can come in handy at some points in the game. So you pick what you'd like more, whether you want Warcaster or you think that you'd be better off with the Resilient Constitution. I'm going to take Warcaster. And we'll exit out and end a turn, and we'll come back around and we'll start the process again with robbing Volo. Your luck will vary for what scrolls Volo has. The ones that we're going to want a lot of are things like Dimension Door and Fireball. Those are the most valuable to us. And we're going to hit level 9 and maybe even level 10 in this act where Volo is still in our camp. So we're going to have more chances to steal from him.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
So we'll take a look and see what she's got in her inventory here. More guileful movement. We can replace the potion of Hill Giant Strength that we used. More potions of flying. Another level 3 spell slot. Still worthwhile to pick those up while we're burning through fireballs. And another scroll of fireball. And some bombs.
Take care now.
And we'll have a run in here and see what Barkus is up to.
Best be on my way.
I heard you the first time.
I want to have a word.
What now? I'm sure you would.
And we'll pick up the bombs. Still don't have any explosive arrows in here. Still not interested in the acrobat shoes. We don't need any of the other special arrows, so that's all we're going to pick up for now.
Now, if you're done rifling through my things,
And we'll level up Will. Alright, so our options for level 4 spells are not particularly great here for Will. We've got Dimension Door, which can provide some mobility in an emergency, or we could go back and grab Invisibility, which would allow us also to get out of trouble. We can replicate invisibility with potions more easily than we can replicate Dimension Door, so we'll go ahead and take that. For Will, the best option is going to be an ability improvement. So Will's entire to hit and damage is based on charisma, and that's what we really care about. We can also increase his dexterity to get more armor class and a higher initiative. So for Will, we're going to take ability improvement, and then when we hit level 12, we'll probably just go straight into charisma again. And we'll hit Barkus and the Quartermaster.
what now? I'm sure you would.
More bombs. Potion of Flying, not something we really need. That's going to bite me, I think. Every time I say something like that, I realize in like some later video that I'm going to desperately
If
need
you're
more
done
potions of
rifling
flying.
through my things,
Feel free to tell me in the comments, like, oh hey, this is where you said you'd never need that.
Ain't my neck of the woods. I bet they're close.
count your lucky stars.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
We'll take a look at what she's got. Poison resistance, necrotic resistance, not interested. Diminution, no. We've got some vigilance already. Remedial potion's really good. This is something we could throw at someone to get them out of paralyzation. And that can happen. We've got 3 Scrolls of Conjure Elemental plus the ones Asterian's got, so pick up another one of those. And some bombs.
Take care now.
All right. So that is the current party. We'll have the main character jump to camp. And we jump into turn-based mode. Now we want to take a look at who we haven't leveled. So we haven't leveled Gale, Karlach, or Lizelle. We can only have 2 characters in the party other than the main character and Asterian. So we'll add Lizelle, and
If death is soon to take Karlach, she should make every moment as rich as the last. Fight viciously, roar loudly, step boldly. She must make herself known.
and we'll say that we'd
The
like to
party's
join,
full. You'll need to make room.
and we'll have her trade places with Will.
Good. Our victory is most certain.
And we'll level up Lizelle. Level 8, we get an additional expanded spell. And take a look here. We have a casting of Misty Step. We might be able to get a little more mobility out of having more. Invisibility is always a great option. We could also take Enlarge Reduce to make ourselves bigger and stronger and get some additional bonuses. And I think that that's what we're going to do. We have the option to replace a spell. Take a look. We could replace Protection from Good and Evil with Find Familiar. We don't really need to. We have option for another feat. So we could increase our native strength. That would be pretty good. But in Act 3, we're mostly going to be drinking elixirs that give us much higher strength than we can mimic in the game. We could add to our Dexterity and Constitution, getting a little faster and more hit points. Or we could pick up something that is more situational, like Great Weapon Master, which will allow us to do more damage when something is right next to us, sort of like throwing does. So this will, just the same as Sharpshooter for ranged, Great Weapon Master does for weapons in hand. So the only caveat there is that we must be wielding the weapon in both hands. So depending on what we're equipping, that can be a problem. Generally, if we're having a bunch of people rush at us, this would be a good time to swap to the returning pike, which is a two-handed weapon, and then we can start dealing damage with that right away. Other options that you might entertain are like Heavy Armor Master to lower the amount of damage that you're taking, Lucky to prevent misses. Lucky is good for any character at any time. We're going to take Great Weapon Masters to allow us to break open boxes and smash stuff. So that's what we're going to grab. And because we've leveled, we're going to hop back to Asterion. And do our looting. And we'll just exit turn-based mode.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Grab our main character, and we will use the waypoint to go to Last Light Inn so that we don't drag us Lizelle with us.
Too dark to tell.
I bet they're close.
The gods are watching me.
Watching us.
What's up for discussion?
And this would be much faster if you're doing it by
If you're
yourself,
all
right? So you don't
by
have to
Jahira,
explain,
You're all right by me.
like I'm doing, why we're doing the things that we're doing. And once you know what you're looking for, going through all of the equipment is much, much faster. Here we find the Elixir of Viciousness. This is something that also reduces your critical multiplier by 1. Worth having if we want to try to play the crit game once in a while. This is something we do. We'll grab this Potion of Speed, Scroll of Fireball, and Bombs. And nothing else is jumping out at me. I think we've got enough cultivation. We'd love to see an Elixir of Battle Mage's Power. That's going to raise the DC for spells that we cast. It's a really potent effect. And we've got 4 scrolls plus 2 that Asterian's carrying around for Conjure Elemental, so I think we're okay on that.
Take care now.
It'll need to.
The finest stock.
I'll be out of your way as soon as I'm finished. What now? I'm sure you would.
So robbing vendors out in the main world, like robbing Barkus here, is much more dangerous because we might get noticed or end up lowering our approval with the NPCs that are here in the inn. That's not something that we want to do.
if you're done right.
And part of the reason that we're doing this right now is that we have a super duper high charisma. And while I'm thinking about it, we'll consume Auntie Ethel's hair here. And that's lowering the price of everything. All right, so we talked to these two we've already robbed. We've got Lizelle in the party. We're going to go back to camp. And we'll swap out Lizelle for Karlak.
Hey, soldier.
We'll ask how our second upgrade feels.
Like I got something back. Something I've wanted for a really long time. When I touched you, I felt like a real person. My heart was racing, but I didn't hurt you. I don't have to be afraid of myself anymore. I don't have to hold back. Not sure the world's ready for unleashed Karlak, but it's getting it anyway. Thanks to Dammon. Thanks to you. Thanks to fate.
And we can ask about her engine.
Ugh, I don't want to think about that now. Misery always overstays its welcome, and joy leaves too soon. I'll cry later, but not now.
So, Karlak is, you know, brokenhearted. We'll say that we're glad she got
Me
what she
too,
wanted.
soldier. Gods, me too. For every knock we take, I feel like I get a little treat just to keep me going.
And we'll ask what she's going to do.
Touch everything. Touch everyone that'll let me. Shake hands, dance a waltz, maybe even kiss a face or two if I find a good candidate. The world's my funhouse.
And we'll end that conversation, and we'll have to talk to her again to add her.
Soldier. You know I'm up for it, but your party's a little full.
And we'll have her replace Lizelle.
Now we're talking.
And level up. At level 8, our big choice here is our feat, and we're going to follow Lizelle's example of taking Tavern Brawler, and we'll increase our strength. So this is going to put her more on par with the amount of damage that Lizelle has been doing while throwing. We'll go back to Asterion. Cast Guidance. And see what Volo's got for us. And you see that his scrolls are leveling up while we level up, as is the amount of money he's carrying. And why we never want him to leave camp until we absolutely have to. We'll grab Alfira and head back to Last Light Inn.
This place gives me the creeps. See any movement out
I
there?
need a quick word.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
And we'll see what she's got for sale. So, for potions, we've got another Godful Movement, some more Hill Giant Strength. I think we've got enough of that for the rest of this act. Gaseous Form. These are pretty handy. I'll pick one up. We've seen a couple of them so far, but I'm running out of good things to buy. We'll pick up another Fireball. We're going to use these super liberally to defend Halcyon, so we're just going to be winging them all over the place. And all the bombs that she's got. And another arrow, I suppose. So this is an opportunity to just kind of grab whatever you want. You see, our gold total has barely changed even after all of the acquisition.
Take care now.
And we're coming to the end. We still need to level up Gale.
Break.
And then most of this will be done for this act. We'll need to do level 9, and then we'll have a full level up for Halsin when he joins the party, if he joins the party.
Don't be shy. Have a gander at the finest stock.
What now? I'm sure you would.
And all right, Bark is coming through with the bombs on this one. Appreciate that, my friend. And another potion of speed. And we'll grant this arrow of many targets.
Now, if you're done right.
And back to camp. And the last character that we haven't leveled, Gale.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Oh, nothing would give me greater pleasure. Which of our esteemed company am I stepping in for?
We'll have him replace Karlak.
Magical. So, shall we?
All right, so we've got 2 more level 4 spells to take with Gale. And Gale is sort of our control wizard, so he's taking mostly stuff that manipulates the battlefield. So here we've got something that does damage and creates some ground cover. Greater invisibility. We've got a wall of fire. This is pretty good to drag opponents through, so we'll take that. Confusion can be good, but it's very unpredictable, and one of the reasons that I haven't planned on using it for this run is that you might get very different results than what I get while I'm using it. Avard's Black Tentacles isn't very good. Autoluke's Resilient Sphere can be good situationally. So I think our best option left is going to be Ice Storm. When it comes to feats, Gale's big deal is high difficulty classes and the ability to keep his spells going. So the same as with Shadowheart, we can take a look at Resilient Constitution or Warcaster. Gale has a odd Constitution number, so he's got a 15 con. So if we take Resilient Constitution, we're actually going to get some extra hit points and an additional +1 to the check on top of adding our proficiency bonus. That is a more obvious choice for why we might want Resilient Constitution for Gale. We could also choose to pick up an additional point of difficulty, right, by choosing ability increase and increasing his constitution and intelligence. So the question becomes, do we want to be able to maintain spells that we're concentrating on if we get hit, or do we want them to be 1 point better at not being resisted? So those are the 2 options that I would pick. I'm going to pick Resilient Constitution because it doesn't seem to matter how well you try to position yourself. Oftentimes you will still get hit, and there are other ways that we have of increasing our difficulty number. And that was the last character that we needed to level up. I'll pick up everything from Volo, exit,
No time to rest.
have Alfira. We're just going to leave camp because we're going to come back and set up our party for the next task.
Premium trinkets and doodahs.
Sure.
I'll talk to Barkus.
Silence.
What now? I'm sure you would.
We'll pick up the bombs that he's got. We don't need any potions of flying, probably. I'm going to regret saying that, I think.
Right here.
If you're done rifling.
Now we'll warp to last light,
Any movement out there?
just because it saves us a little time from walking.
Too dark to tell.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
All right, let's see what she's got. So we've got an elixir of heroism. We already have a bunch of those. Don't need oil of accuracy. Don't need oil of bane. Elixir of battle mage's power. Anytime we see these things, we totally want them. So this is going to give us a +3 to our difficulty class for the wizard until we replace it with another drink or until a long rest. This is just absolutely fantastic, and it takes the battlefield control spells that one of the casters can use and makes them really, really difficult to resist. So in Act 3, we can kick the difficulty numbers so high that only on 20s or even 20s with disadvantage can someone make the save and not be affected by our spells. So anytime you see the elixir of battle mage's power, that's one to grab. We'll get another remedial potion, which will help us if somebody gets paralyzed. We don't need to see invisibility, and we haven't seen any more of the viciousness or assault ones. So that's it. All right, so
Take care now.
we started off with a bunch of money, and we still have it. We got a bunch more bombs, some additional gear, and in the next video we will equip some of this stuff and go back to adventuring again and see how much further we can get in the act. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.